Hello everyone, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope all of you are doing good. This is the weekly market update live stream. If you are new to my YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe to it. Please make sure to like the live stream and press the notification bell icon so that whenever I go live, you are notified immediately. Also, if you're not following me over Twitter, 𝗟𝘍𝗶𝗵𝘁𝘀, this is my Twitter handle. I regularly post market updates and calls over my Twitter account as well, so make sure that you're following this handle. And finally, if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can always join in the Discord server. The link you can find in the description of this video. The link to the Discord server, the link to the Twitter account, and the Bluffin affiliate link also you would find in the description of this video. And finally, for all of you who are already the members of the Discord community, or even if you are someone who has not joined the Discord community and you were for some reason affected by this flash crash that happened almost 4 or 5 days ago, then we are offering a discount. We are offering free days as well. You can join in the Discord server. You can open the support ticket once again if you were liquidated, as the majority of the people, as it happened with the majority of the people, or if you suffered significant losses, then we are here to help you. Make sure to once again click the link in the description of the video, join the Discord server, open the support ticket, explain us your situation, and we will try our best to help you out. Uh, Obviously, we would not be able to get your capital back, but at least what we can do is give you free access to the Discord server. Obviously, it depends on the situation. It depends, what situation you're going through. So, in order for us to assist you, all you have to do is join the Discord server, open the support ticket, and explain your situation. So let's start this market update. Uh, First of all, let's have an overview of the positions that we have open right now. So soon after this flash crash, we entered almost 24 to 25 spot positions. So we have not entered any leverage position so far after that flash crash. We are still trying to take things extremely slow. And I was waiting for the CPI data and the PPI data, but because of the government shutdown, we did not have any data release. That was expected. So we will be entering into leverage positions probably in the next few days, 1 or 2 days. But these are the spot positions that I have open. So the ones that have this red tag added, with them, for these positions, the stop loss has already been moved to break even. For example, 𝗠𝗏, ADA, Ethereum, 𝗏𝗏𝗃, XRP, LTO, WIF, Decentraland, Magic, 𝗏𝗃𝗃, STRK. For this one, stop loss has not been moved to break even. So most of these positions, STRK, People, Near, Ethereum Classic, Link, Orca, CFX, 𝗠殊, POL, Meme, and 𝗕he. So majority of these positions are either trading at the entry point or they're trading slightly below the entry point, except for this one position, 𝗕he. This one is trading almost 6 to 7% below the entry point. So majority of these positions are still at the entry point. I guess People is the only position which is trading slightly above the entry point, but apart from that, the majority of these positions are still trading at the entry point. So if you wish to enter any of these spot positions, you can do so at the market price. I would not recommend entering all of these positions simultaneously. At the same time, if you have a poor risk management issue, then I would suggest that you try to take things extremely slow. Just try to enter like 3 or 4 good positions. Take a look at the chart for yourself. All of these charts are looking good to me, honestly. The reason is because for the majority of these spot positions that we entered, the daily candle close was above the higher time frame support. Okay, so this is what happened with the majority of the altcoins, and we were able to successfully de-risk all of these spot positions, because for the majority of these spot positions, what happened was, this was the higher time frame support for the majority of these altcoins. Price was trading 10 to 20%, in some cases 30 to 40%, up from this higher time frame support. And then at some point in time, almost 3 4 days ago, we had this flash crash, a huge wick below this higher time frame support. But then eventually, the daily close happened to be above this higher time frame support. The reason why I'm calling it a support is because in the majority of the cases, either this support has been fully reclaimed or price has already closed a daily candle above this higher time frame support. Then in that situation, we can simply just call it a deviation. So for the majority of these altcoins, you would see that they are already almost already trading at their pre-dump levels, pre-flash crash levels, and for that reason, it becomes a very good deviation setup. So this is what exactly we have been trying to do. Uh, this is what exactly we have been trying to do. We are trying to trade the coins for which the daily candle close happened above the higher time frame support. So, ideally speaking, this wick that you would take a look at right now, it's simply nothing but just a deviation below the higher time frame support. I completely realize that, price in some cases went almost 40 to 50% below these higher time frame supports. But because the daily candle close happened above these higher time frame support levels, then in that situation, there is no reason for you to place any short positions around here. And I would give you an example for this. If you are looking at the XRP chart, you would notice that this was the higher time frame support for XRP, right? We had XRP trading at $3, then this flash crash happened. The lowest price for XRP was almost $1.14. The daily candle close happened above this higher time frame support. This higher time frame support I'm talking about. Now, even if price went almost 39% down below this higher time frame support, but still, because the daily candle close happened above this higher time frame support, it is simply just going to be considered as a deviation. And that's when we entered into this XRP spot position. We were able to catch a small move, almost a 15 to 16% move. But because price has now consolidated, the word consolidation is extremely important. I have explained this multiple times in during these live streams that consolidation is something which separates a breakout from a fake out, or consolidation is something which separates a breakout or a genuine reclaim from deviation. So this is a deviation because in this situation there was no consolidation below this higher time frame support level, but because there has been consolidation below this higher time frame resistance level. Now the reason I'm calling it a resistance is because price obviously is trading under this region. Then in that case, you're all good to take a short position around it. You see, this was a good short position. We closed almost 50 to 60% of this XRP position, and then price had a rejection at this higher time frame resistance level, because this actually is a good resistance level. Price in the past has almost always reacted to this resistance level. But we have all of these spot positions open, and you can choose to enter any of these spot positions. All of these spot positions are looking good to me. STRK, you can see that trading at the entry point, people trading slightly above the entry point, near is trading under the entry point, ETC at the entry point, link is also trading at the entry point, orca at the entry point, CFX also at the entry point. So in almost all of the cases, if you would draw the SR levels, you would notice that because the daily close happened. Now this is an interesting situation because in the case of CFX, you can see that although the daily candle close was below this higher time frame support, and now I'm calling it a support because price is already trading above this level. So, we should be calling it a support. In this situation, you can see that even though the daily candle close was below this higher time frame support, there was no consolidation. For consolidation, you need to have at least like 4 to 5 candle closes on whatever time frame you are looking at. So we are looking at the daily time frame chart. You can see that price had a break below this level, although the daily close happened below this level. Then a quick reclaim happened, and the majority of the people have been asking me in Discord, also on Twitter as well, that why exactly are we not shorting? The reason why we are not taking any short positions right now is because it's not possible, or it's not a very wise decision to get into short positions after such a massive long liquidation event. So the majority of the long positions have already been wiped out. I realize that people have been trying to do revenge trading, people have been trying to get into more long positions, spot positions, but you are not really going to see any other huge liquidation event anytime soon. I mean, even if we talk about this one, I don't even remember when exactly we had the last liquidation event, last big liquidation event, and I remember the last one was probably in the month of December 2024, or probably in the month of January, where we had this massive liquidation wick I remember I was coming back from gym, and Bitcoin at that time was trading around 103,000 or maybe 100,000, 98,000. And we had this massive liquidation wick all the way down to 88,000 or maybe 90,000. So that was the last liquidation event which happened back in December 2024 or maybe January 2025. So this liquidation event happened after almost 8 months, and I was surprised that it took market makers so long to, cause this liquidation event. Because back in back in 2024, during the peak of the bear market, 23, 22, 2022, 23, these kind of liquidation events were extremely common. Every few weeks you would have these big liquidation events. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that, first of all, Bitcoin is still moving in an uptrend. The bullish trend for Bitcoin is still valid. We will be talking about that part later on. It's not a leading indicator. When you talk about the market structure, the the major drawback is that market structure, it's a it's a lagging indicator. It's not a leading indicator, right? So, there are certain trade-offs that you would have to take into account when you are dealing with the lagging indicators. Obviously, with the leading indicators, you would have a better average entry point. For example, if you're talking about swing failure pattern, you would have a better average entry point if you're entering into long position or short position. But at the same time, you do not have the best possible confirmation. But in any case, the reason why we are not entering into any short position right now, it's a very important question, is because uh it's I do not expect price for these altcoins to go down immediately after such a massive liquidation event. And if we enter into any short positions right now, you have to understand that it's quite possible that we are entering into short right at the bottom, right? Because price is still trading around those VIX. We have not seen any massive recovery happen. So for that reason, I'm not comfortable opening any short position now. We should have entered into short positions when price was trading somewhere around here. Why we did not do that? Why we did not open tons of different short positions? Answer is very simple: because no one really had the idea that there is going to be a massive liquidation event. Or even if some people had the idea, even I was the one placing these stink bids. I was the one placing these limit orders 40%, 50% below the entry point, below the current market price almost a week ago. But I'll be honest with you, I was not expecting that there is going to be a liquidation event which will be that massive. I mean, the exchanges are reporting $19 billion worth of liquidations. The majority of the people from this space, even the founders of Hyperliquid, have said that only 1 out of 100 liquidations are being reported openly. The actual number is far too big. I don't know how true is that, but the point is that the majority of the people, they got wiped out, they got liquidated. So it may not be a very wise decision to enter into any short positions right now. uh, you know, uh, Silent is saying you called it the same day, dude. Yes, I did call the same day. I did mention the same day that there is going to be a big liquidation event or flash crash. This is exactly why we are placing the limit orders 40 to 50% below the current market price. But once again, I have no shame openly admitting that I did not have the idea, or I did not have the idea that it's going to be that big. I mean, if I had the idea, then I would have definitely placed the limit orders not 40 to 50% below the current market price, but actually 70 to 80% below the market price. I mean, the liquidation event itself was far too big. And I don't think anyone had anticipated that, it's going to be that big. Even those people who were openly calling for the dump, who were openly mentioning a flash crash or anything like that, even they would have not imagined that it's going to be that big. But anyways, so these are the spot positions that we have open right now. uh Even my limit orders got liquidated. Lennon is saying, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Even if you had placed the limit orders 50% below the market price for the majority of these altcoins, because they went almost 70 to 80%. I mean, look at the spot prices for some of these altcoins. uh, Atom, if you look at the spot chart for Atom on Binance, it literally went down to zero. And same is the case with the majority of these altcoins. Now, you can call it market manipulation, whatever you would like to call it. It makes absolutely no sense to me that how exactly, for the majority of these coins, price went all the way down to zero. It's not realistically possible. Obviously, something must have happened. It was, the another very important point regarding this is that it was not a coordinated activity. I know that people love to blame the market makers, people love to blame these secret entities, whales, and all that. If you look at if you look at the people who got liquidated just on Hyperliquid, you would see that some of them had $100 million, $88 million, $60 million, $50 million. And I was talking about the same thing in one of the previous live stream also, that uh, do you guys actually believe that someone with $100 million who is trading with who is opening $1 billion, $2 billion worth of position, he would not have access to all the information, he would not have access to all the tools and everything. And this is exactly why I'm telling people that just because someone has got $500 million or $400 million portfolio or $1 billion portfolio, it doesn't mean that they have a very high level of intelligence. It does not mean that they have access to all the possible information. Yes, they may have access to information, they may have a high level of intelligence, but we have people like James Wine, who just got liquidated. By the way, he got liquidated once again out of all of his long positions. He used to have these $1 billion long positions open not long ago, 2 3 months ago, and he was regularly getting liquidated. Even he just got liquidated few hours ago, okay, because he was opening these big long positions once again, calling for the bottom. So the point is that just because you have a big enough amount of capital, it wouldn't mean that you have a very high level of intelligence, or you are very intelligent trader, you are a very good trader, you are a very informed person. I mean, the markets at most of the times, markets, they're extremely random, and you have to trade very carefully. People with $100 million who got liquidated on Hyperliquid, they had absolutely good risk. They had a very good risk management. They had, they had started with probably like $5 million, $10 million, and they traded with $5 million, $10 million, and they consistently grew their capital all the way up to like 90 millions, $100 million. But once again, they got liquidated. So the point is that these markets are extremely random. You always have to be extremely careful, extremely cautious. And I do not agree with people saying that, look, there is a whale who opened $500 million worth of short position at 115K. That is why we are going down. We have seen James Wine open similar kind of positions not long ago, 2 3 months ago, and he was regularly getting liquidated. How many of you remember when he opened? He was constantly opening positions at 107,000, 110,000, 106,000, 105,000, and then eventually he got liquidated at 103,000. Price went down to 98,000, and then it went all the way up to 124,000. And then he was blaming the market makers, he was blaming other entities, he was blaming exchanges that they intentionally liquidated him. Now there could be this intentional motive also, there could be this intentional variable also, but still he is the only one who should be blamed because he did not have the proper risk management. But anyways, do not fall for this trap. Do not fall for this trap just because some whales, they have big positions open at 115K, 117K. I know that a lot many people are constantly saying that, even in my Discord server also, even on Twitter also, people are constantly tweeting about this whale who has a big short position open, and they are trying to somehow project that maybe this whale actually knows something, and that is why they have a big short position open. James Wine used to do the same things, and he eventually got liquidated. But anyways, so these are the spot positions that we have open. I've explained to you in detail the reason why I'm not comfortable opening any short position right now, because after this massive liquidation wick for long positions, I do not think that there is going to be another massive liquidation wick. It's quite possible that will go down and fill the 50% of this wick, but for the majority of these altcoins, price has already reclaimed these higher time frame support levels. And remember that this is nothing but just a deviation retest. Now, this is another very important factor that the majority of us are used to of looking at the 1 minute time frame chart, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hour. The reason why it's getting so painful for us, I mean, look at this chart. This was the deviation, and this is the deviation retest happening right now. Okay, look at the others.d chart, look at the others chart, look at the others BTC chart. This is the deviation, and this is the deviation retest. So nothing really has changed. A lot many of us are getting impatient because we are used to of looking at the smaller time frame charts, and that is why it's getting so frustrated for all of us. But in reality, this is nothing but just a deviation retest, and if it happens to be a successful deviation retest, then we should have a continuation move towards this $320 billion resistance level, because we are right now sitting at the high time frame support. And historically, the deviation retests, they're usually very powerful setups, they're usually very good setups. We have seen examples with Bitcoin, we have seen examples with the majority of these altcoins also. So yeah, Ethereum right now is my biggest spot position. I have mentioned this on Twitter as well, I've mentioned this on Discord also, that in my personal opinion, people are going to regret not buying Ethereum at these lower prices. Okay, so my average entry for ETH is not 3763. If you guys remember, during that flash crash, we had ETH position, the entry for which, my personal entry for which was 4100. I did not do DCA into that spot position. And then when this flash crash happened, I just continued to do DCA into that spot position. Now my average entry is around 3900 to $4000 level. I have not sold a single dollar from that spot position. It's a big spot position, and I'm only going to sell it at 4700, because this is the strategy that I use. I'm not I'm not going to wait for 3000. Although there is a decent chance that price may go back down to at least 3500 and 3000 also in the worst case scenario, because $3000 support has not been retested before. Please remember that. But if you are holding Ethereum in spot, it's a good decent point to buy, I would say, because of these daily candle closes. Do not get baited with all of this noise. If you are looking to buy ETH at 3500, okay, that's a decent point. Price may still go back down to 3500, 3600. It may still revisit these levels, but I have the biggest spot position open on ETH, and I'm not going to sell it. I'm simply just waiting for 4700. And you guys remember that this is a strategy that we have been successfully using. We bought ETH at 3000, then we sold at 3900, then we bought again at 4000 breakout, sold at 4700, bought again at the first retest of 4100, sold at 4700, bought again at this deviation, sold at 4700. Now, we are in this another Ethereum spot position. The majority of you would have this entry 3763, but I'll be honest with you, my average entry point for ETH is not 3763. It is 3900 to 4000, and I'm going to sell it at 4700. So ETH now, what are you saying? So ETH now, where do you think ETH goes at the end of the cycle? And now it's a very difficult question. I mean, no one would be able to give you an answer with 100% certainty, but I have this number in my mind, 7000 to 6000. That is, in my opinion, a realistic target for Ethereum. Ethereum, in comparison to Bitcoin, has not done anything crazy. The all-time high for Bitcoin in the previous cycle was 69,000, and you can see that the new all-time high right now is almost 126,000. So Bitcoin already has given you almost a 2x move above its previous all-time high. Not exactly a 2x, but 70 to 80% move above its previous all-time high. But nothing crazy has happened with Ethereum. Now, a good way that you can look at this relationship between Ethereum and Bitcoin is by looking at the ETH BTC chart. Now, you can see that on the weekly time frame, ETH BTC has not done anything crazy. And by the way, right now it's trading under this resistance level. Once this resistance gets reclaimed, then it's going to be an easy move upside for Ethereum. But you can see that ETH BTC has not done anything crazy. ETH BTC is not even close to its previous all-time highs. So, back in 2021, it topped somewhere around this level. And, right now it's nowhere close to that number. So, this chart, it would have to increase by almost 126% in order to get to this previous all-time high, in order to get to the previous cycle high for Ethereum, for the ETH BTC chart. And by the way, for those of you who don't know ETH BTC, it's showing you the strength of Ethereum in comparison to Bitcoin. If price on this chart goes up, it basically means that Ethereum is strong in comparison to Bitcoin. If price on this chart goes down, then it basically means that Ethereum is weak in comparison to Bitcoin, right? So that's how this correlation works. But you can see that it's nowhere close to its previous cycle high, and it would have to grow by almost 85%, almost 100%, so a 2x growth is required for ETH BTC to reach its previous cycle high, which is once again a big number. And for that reason, I believe that 7,000, 6,000, 8,000, that is a realistic target for Ethereum during this cycle. And once again, before we start with the Bitcoin update, I do not think that the top is in for Bitcoin. I do not think that Bitcoin is going to create the all-time high during this cycle at 126,000. Neither do I believe that it's going to create the all-time high at $500,000 or $1 million. That too, in my opinion, is not a very realistic target. The realistic target, in my opinion, is going to be somewhere in between 150,000 to 180,000. Okay, so I do not have any strong reasoning behind this target, but still 150,000 to 180,000, in my opinion, is a realistic target for Bitcoin during this cycle. And once again, I'm repeating the statement that no, I do not think that the top for Bitcoin is in during this cycle. I do not think that Bitcoin is about to go into this downtrend until and unless I see any big structure changes, which I have not seen so far. And as I mentioned at the very start of this live stream also, that there are always going to be certain trade-offs when you are dealing with market structure. You cannot be early because the invalidation point in this situation is 98.2k. And by the time you have the structure shift, obviously you are going to be too far away from the all-time high. Remember that the all-time high right now is at 126,000. You are going to be too far away from the all-time high by the time the actual structure change happens. But once again, this is what happens. You can either deal with the leading indicators, or you can either trade with the lagging indicators. With the leading indicators, you may be early, you may enter right at the top, or you may be able to enter right at the bottom of it. And let me give you an example for this. The structure for Bitcoin turned bullish back in October 2023 when price had a break above $28,000. So you were definitely not early at that point, but you had the best possible confirmation that look, this is the bottom for Bitcoin, because the daily time frame structure for Bitcoin flipped bullish. And just for your knowledge, the structure for Bitcoin has been bullish since October 2023. We had big crashes. We had Bitcoin going from 74,000 all the way down to 49,000, 50,000. But even during those times, when you look at the market structure for Bitcoin, not even once it flipped bearish, right? This is very important statement. People usually do not pay attention to this, but not even once during the past 2 years, Bitcoin structure has flipped bearish. And I at the at the same time, I do not agree with people saying that we are still early in this cycle. We are definitely not early. Bitcoin has been bullish since 28,000. Even by looking at the structure, it has been bullish since October 2023, since $28,000 level. So we are definitely not early in this cycle. But at the same time, I believe that we are in the last stages of this cycle. And I still at the same time believe that the top is not in, and there is still some upside left for Bitcoin. There is still some upside left for Ethereum. There is still some upside left for the altcoins also. And yes, we are going to have an altcoin season. The extent of the altcoin season, it's definitely going to be far more different in comparison to what people are thinking. It's going to be an altogether different thing. Obviously, there is not enough liquidity to pump all of these altcoins at once. I do not believe that all of these shit coins are going to pump. I do not believe that all of these shit coins are going to give you a 20x, 50x, 100x return. But definitely, the coins that have better utility in comparison to some of these shit coins, they're definitely going to have a major run, in the last stage of this bull market. So yeah, we are slowly approaching that last stage of the bull market, which means the top is not already in. So let's talk about Bitcoin right now. So Bitcoin right now is trading at 110,000, 110.5k. And I did mention this in my update. I have been constantly mentioning this in my update for the past 2 to 3 days, that I do not like the fact that Bitcoin has this ascending trend line in place. And the uh, more scary fact is that price has been constantly bouncing at this trend line. You can see that this is more like a dead cat bounce. The first bounce, second bounce, third bounce, fourth bounce, sixth one, seventh one, eighth one. So price is constantly bouncing at this trend line. But at the same time, you may notice that, and this on the smaller time frame chart, it's going to be much more visible. You can see that with each one of these bounces, you know, uh, the rebounds are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. For example, this one was big, this one was small, this one was small in comparison to previous one. And look how these rebounds are getting smaller and smaller and smaller, which means that the selling pressure is getting intense. The buyers, they are losing interest in this level. And by the way, Trump has to make an announcement at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know what exactly that is going to be. uh, in the UK time zone. Please let me know in the chat box if you guys know. But until and unless he makes some bullish announcement, even if he makes a bullish announcement, I do not think that we are going to have a quick recovery here. I still believe that there is going to be a break below the trend line. I've said this always, that no matter how many times you try to avoid this, no matter what explanation do you have, to avoid this, but still, where there is a trend line, there is always a breakout, there is always a breakdown. So 8 p.m. UK time likely. Yeah, so 3 p.m. Eastern time, that is going to be 8 p.m. my time zone. He's going to make an announcement. I don't know if that's going to be something related to crypto, but yeah, he has to make an announcement. I hope that it's going to be something related to the US China trade war. And by the way, Trump has officially said that US and China, they are now officially in a trade war. He has been flip-flopping over and over again. He imposed 100% import duties on China. Then he said that everything is okay with China. Markets rallied. First, markets had this. First, there was a huge flash crash in the market when he announced these 100% import duties. Then he said that everything was okay with China. Price had a decent move up from 110,000 up to 114,000, 115,000. Then once again, he said that we are officially in a trade war. He was talking about the cooking oil. The cooking oil Avenger has come back. And by the way, saying this, if you guys have not read this tweet, please make sure to go my Twitter account and give a like on this tweet. And now it's no longer the return of the soybean Avenger. Now it's return of the cooking oil Avenger, because Trump in his recent post mentioned that how US should not be dependent on uh, the rare earth minerals thing. That's a totally different issue. But he said that US should not be overly dependent on China for the import of cooking oil. But anyways, so we can just try to rename it to return of the cooking oil Avenger. So regarding this trend line on the smaller time frame chart, you guys can actually see that these rebounds, they are getting smaller. And as I've already mentioned several times, where there is a trend line, there is always a breakout. So, one thing that you should have hardwired into your brain right now is that we are going to see a break below this trend line, and most likely it's going to be in the next few hours. The extent of this breakdown, it may not be that big, considering that we already have this huge trend line. Sorry, considering that we already have this huge wick towards downside, there is not too much left for market makers to push the price all the way down to these levels. But still, 107,000 to 108,000, that seems like a decent target in my opinion. And it's quite possible that will go down in the next few hours and revisit these levels. So in terms of the daily time frame structure for Bitcoin, as I have said already, that the invalidation point for the daily time frame structure remains 98.2k. So until and unless we see a daily candle close below this level, I do not think that we are going to see until unless we have a daily candle close below this level, I did not think that the structure for Bitcoin is bearish, because it's very obvious on the daily time frame chart the structure is still bullish. This is a major swing low. This is the major swing high. Anything that's happening in between these two levels, it's simply just internal structure, right? Because the market structure itself, it's a lagging indicator. It's not a leading indicator, right? I remember a week or two ago when I came back from vacations, when I came back from Singapore, I did mention to you guys that at that time price was trading around 124,000. I did mention to you that if you want to take a short trade, you can do so right now. I would not do so because I'm not someone who actively trades based on swing failure patterns, but we had a very good indication that price is about to go down when we had this swing failure pattern, and we had another very good indication when price had a break below when price had a wick above this level. And by the way, I am actually my team has prepared a document. We are actually going to publish this document very soon. We did publish one which was a guide on stablecoin dominance, and now we are working on a guide on swing failure pattern. It will be published very soon. It's a very good trading strategy in my opinion. You guys can see that this was a swing failure pattern. It gave you a move from 123,000 all the way down to 107,000. Then once again another swing failure pattern. Once again, as I mentioned, I came back from Singapore. The first update that I posted, I explained that there is a swing failure pattern. I'm not going to place a short position because this is not what I use in my trading strategy. It's a but it's a leading indicator, meaning that all you had to do was simply just open a short position, place your limit order slightly above these levels, and then enjoy this whole move downside. even if the trade gets stopped, you wouldn't really be losing too much, because you would have a very tight invalidation point. But once again, it's a leading indicator, not a lagging indicator. The trade-off is that you would essentially be trading against the trend. You would be shorting something in an uptrend, and you would not be shorting something in a downtrend. If you would like to wait for the downtrend to start, then you would have to wait for the invalidation point. The invalidation point is this major swing low. If we have a daily candle close below this major swing low, 98.2K, that is when you would have the structure shift on the Bitcoin chart. And this is exactly why I do not agree with people being overly bearish right now. Nothing really has changed. Bitcoin has traded at these levels in past. 31 August, Bitcoin was still trading at this level. Back on 26th of September, after 1 month, Bitcoin was still trading at this level. And on 15th of October, Bitcoin, 15th, 16th of October, Bitcoin is trading at the very same levels. So nothing really has changed so far, in my opinion. It's very common for price to go back down and revisit the 78.6 level, 0.786 level. This is what exactly has happened. And I remember, the last live stream maybe we did, or maybe the previous one, was dedicated to the importance of 0.786 level, because not only this level gives you good entries, but it also gives you the best possible risk to reward ratio. So if you are not sure about your entry point, if you're not sure where exactly you should be placing your limit order, so what you can do in these kind of situations is that instead of going long at 61.8%, 65%, because of course, if you would go long at 65%, you would have the early entry, but still you wouldn't be sure if that is if price is going to make an immediate reversal at this point. But with 78.6, even if you're not sure about the immediate reversal, not only it's a very good level to go long at, but at the same time you would have a good risk to reward ratio, because all you have to do is just go long at 0.786 and place your stop loss in the middle of 88.6 and 99.90. It's usually a very good. Ideally speaking, your stop loss should be below this level, but you can actually place your stop loss below 88.6 and in the middle of 88.6 and 99.90. But anyways, in terms of the retracement levels, in terms of the structure changes, nothing really has happened so far, in my opinion. But one thing is for sure, that Bitcoin is about to have a break below this trend line. In normal circumstances, I would have said that where there is a trend line, there is going to be impulsive break towards downside. If it's an ascending trend line, if it's a descending trend line, there is going to be an impulsive move towards upside. But in this situation, I would not really say it's going to be a massive break below. And you can see how price is bouncing at this trend line. I mean, on the 4-hour time frame chart, you can see this for yourself. It's a very dangerous situation. Price should actually not be doing this. We should not really be having these dead cat bounces. The more and more you're having these bounces, further you would have clarity that it's going to result in a big break towards downside. But it's not going to be as big as this massive wick all the way down to 102,000. Probably it's going to result in a break all the way down to maybe 107,000, 106,000, but it's not going to be that big. It's not going to be a move down to 104,000 or 102,000. But one thing it's definitely going to change is the behavior of stablecoin dominance and the USDT dominance chart. Because remember that on not only on the 4-hour time frame, on the daily time frame also, these are very important resistance levels, right? So stablecoin dominance is sitting at resistance. USDT dominance is also sitting at resistance. You can see this for yourself. These are important levels. If we reclaim this level, then it's going to be a big thing. At the same time, it's a very important fact, by the way. Although Bitcoin has not seen any structure changes, right? For structure change to take place, for Bitcoin structure to flip bearish, you would have to see a daily candle close below 98.2K. But remember that it has been clear, for the past 1 month or so, ever since this whole move happened, ever since we had a break above this level, back on 24th of September, it has been clear. I was the one mentioning in my updates also that the structure flip on the USDT dominance chart already has happened. I mean, it's very common. You can see that you have impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave, corrective wave, and impulsive wave. And then you had the structure shift with this daily candle close above this level. This was only a move towards downside, to give a retracement at to give a retracement bounce at 0.786 level. And it's really simple. It's nothing complicated. Let me draw it for you guys. You have this downtrend going on, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive. Then at some point in time, the change of character happens, and then price would, all you have to do is just draw the fib levels from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave. Price would go back down, you know give a retracement down to maybe 0.705, 0.786, and then it will create a new higher high. Okay, so this is your change of character, then this is your higher high, then price will make another retracement, then it will give you another higher high, another retracement, another higher high. And that is how the structure is going to move going forward. And in this situation also, you can see that impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, then the change of character happened. Okay, although the structure shift has not happened on the Bitcoin chart, but it has been clear for the past few days. And I was the one mentioning in my updates also that no matter how you would try to ignore this, but this is actually a reality, right? This is actually a reality which has been clear for the past 1 month or so, that the structure on the correlated charts with Bitcoin, it has already turned bullish. And we are talking about stablecoin dominance and USDT dominance. If the structure on these two charts turns bullish, then it basically means that Bitcoin should be moving in a downtrend. Although the structure change has not taken place on the Bitcoin chart, but at least the structure change has taken place on the USDT and stablecoin dominance chart. But the reason why it's not that important, or the reason why it's not that big, is because it's quite common on both of these charts. It's quite common for both of these charts to have these regular structure changes, right? On the Bitcoin chart, since October 2023, we did not have any single structure change. Bitcoin has constantly been moving in an uptrend. The only time we had a wick below the previous major swing low was back in 2024, when we had a wick below, I guess, the $50,000, $49,000 level. That was only a swing failure pattern, just like we have these bearish swing failure pattern when price wicks above the previous swing highs and then gives a candle close below these levels. The same way we have these bullish swing failure patterns also, in which there is a major swing high, price would give a wick below that major swing high and give a candle close above, and then it will continue to move forward. And this is exactly what we saw happen in that $49,000 wick back in 2024 also, which was a very good long opportunity. The candle price gave a wick all the way down to, I guess, 49,000, 48,000, and then the candle close was at 54,000, 55,000, and then we had a move all the way up to these $126,000 level. So the point is that we did not have any structure change on the Bitcoin chart, but we had regular structure changes on the USDT dominance chart and stablecoin dominance chart. Sometimes they would be bullish, sometimes they would turn bearish, and for that reason, it's not that big of a thing if the structure flip has happened on the USDT dominance chart, because this structure flip on the USDT dominance chart or the stablecoin dominance chart is still internal structure for Bitcoin. So the invalidation point for Bitcoin is still quite far away. The invalidation point for Bitcoin is still at 98.2K, which means that even if the structure flip happens on these charts, Bitcoin will just continue to move like this. But if we have a candle close below 98.2K, then that's going to be a really, really big thing, because this is going to be the first structure change since October 2023. Since the previous bear market, this is going to be the first structure shift, and that's when I would be confident that the bull market is now over. At least for the next 1 or 2 years, it's over, and we are now moving towards a bear market. But because that has not happened so far, so there is no reason to talk about any of that. So this resistance right now on the USDT dominance chart is really important, because in this resistance you can see that if we reclaim this resistance, then price can just continue to move towards the next resistance levels, which is, in my opinion, quite far away. The next resistance is going to be this one, 5.25%, and you will see a significant drawdown in the Bitcoin price. So let's just hope that we do not have a reclaim of this resistance, which basically means that let's just hope that Bitcoin will not continue to trade in 106,000 to 109,000, 110,000 range for a long enough period. It will quickly reclaim these levels. It's not going to be a move downside, right? And remember that as soon as the structure flip happened, this was your structure flip. You had impulsive wave, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, corrective, impulsive, and then you had the structure flip, after the structure flipped, all you had to do was draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, 70.5 retracement happened. Then you had another higher high, which was basically a break of structure. Once again, all you had to do was just take out your fib tool, draw the fib retracement, start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave. Once again, you can see that 65%, 70.5% retracement happened. And ideally speaking, in an ideal world, you should be having a new higher high. Okay, so if I was looking at this chart, in an ideal world, I would have said that look, 98 point, look, the last low for Bitcoin was at 102,000. Then the next low is going to be below 102,000, which means that USD dominance will now put a new higher high. Okay, but once again, this was the first change of character. After first change of character, at least one break of structure happens almost every single time. Since that break of structure has happened, this was a change of character. The break of sorry, this was a break of structure. Then the sorry, this was a change of character, and then the break of structure happened. So there has already been one break of structure after a change of character, meaning that there is no obligation for price to continue to give more and more and more break of structures, right? At least one higher high after price flips its direction from a downtrend towards an uptrend. At least that is what happens in 99.9% of the situations, 99.9% of the cases. And that higher high has already been created, which means that now there is no restriction on price to give us another higher high on this USDT dominance chart. Price may go back up, it may just continue to consolidate in this range, and then it can just break below. But yeah, if we have another higher high, I believe that that is definitely going to result in Bitcoin breaking below 98.2K. So for that reason, the reclaim of this level is extremely important, and same is the case with stablecoin dominance also, which is about to break above this level, which has been itching to break above this level. The same situation is visible around here as well. We had this downtrend which flipped it into an uptrend, and then if you draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, 70.5% retracement happened, which is once again a very scary thing because price is bouncing at this higher time frame support. Also, price is bouncing at this fib retracement level also. And during the past 4 or 5 months, we have not seen any reclaim of this level. I did not have history prior to this level because TradingView decided to remove it. So if the reclaim of this level happens, if we have more candle closes, more daily candle closes above this level, if price continues to consolidate above this level, then that's going to be a very scary thing in my opinion, right? And we are sitting very close to the edge, I would say. One daily candle close. Someone said that one daily candle close above 8.6 is going to cook us. Yes, it's going to cook us. Someone asked the question in the Discord server. Yes, it's definitely going to be a cooked situation in which we have a daily candle close above 8.60% level. And I would prefer we rather not see anything like that because, that's going to be an ugly situation, right? But again, in terms of structure, we need a new higher high above this level in order to further continue with this whole move. But once again, 98.2K, that is the threshold, that is the line in the sand. If we have a daily candle close below 98.2K, then it's over. Pack your bags, apply for this. Just make sure to prepare your CVs and get ready to apply for the McDonald's job. Okay. Finally, let's take a look at the others.d Bitcoin dominance charts. Also, situation on the Bitcoin dominance chart is also quite scary, I would say. It's not that good. You can see that Bitcoin dominance already made this massive wick towards upside, but the more important part is that it created this double bottom pattern. I was constantly warning people about this double bottom pattern. And, if you are someone who has been, watching these live streams, you would know that a double bottom, double top pattern is my absolute favorite reversal pattern. Even if I have to talk about the continuation patterns also, these two are my absolute favorite patterns because they almost work every single time. Others.d and most of these other charts related to altcoins created big double top patterns, and Bitcoin dominance is actually doing the opposite thing. It has created this double bottom pattern and it's satisfying all the conditions. I mean, it's not just required that a chart creates a double bottom or double top pattern. If we're talking about a double bottom pattern, then it needs to be created at a higher time frame support, which this one is satisfying. It got created at a higher time frame support. Then it has to be looking like a double bottom pattern, which is which it actually looks like. It actually looks like a very good double bottom pattern. it has to be created at a higher time frame support. Price has to be moving in a downtrend, and then the double bottom pattern needs to be created, has to be created, and then it's satisfying all the conditions. And finally, you need to have a break above the neckline of this pattern. That is when the pattern formation will be confirmed. We had a break above the neckline, then the neckline retest happened, then we had this massive move towards upside. And yeah, if you would draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, we are sitting at 78.6. The perfect reversal zone we are sitting at. If you talk about the pattern, if you talk about the structure, sorry, on this chart, you have impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave, corrective wave, impulsive wave. That is when the structure flip happened. This was your change of character. You can see that it closed above this wick. Now, in normal circumstances, you would draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, 70.5, 65% retracement is happening, and we should ideally speaking, we should be having a new higher high. So yeah, this is the situation right now. uh, others.d, and these other charts, you can see that they are giving you a deviation retest, so nothing much to update on any of these charts. But still, the structure flip has happened on these charts, which is again a very scary thing. You can even try mapping the structure. Price was moving in a downtrend, then the change of character happened, price started moving in an uptrend, okay, and now the structure flip has happened once again. This is your change of character. So once again, ideally speaking, price should be going up a little bit. In fact, it has already done that, 65%, 70.5%. And if the situation won't improve in the next few days, then we are bound to go down. We will ultimately revisit these levels because the structure flip has happened on others.d chart as well. So Bitcoin structure flip has not happened, but it is going to break below this trend line that we just discussed. The structure flip on USDT dominance and the stablecoin dominance chart has happened. Remember that. Now both of these charts are bullish, and they are trying to reclaim these resistance levels. If the reclaim happens, nothing much is going to change on the Bitcoin chart in terms of structure, but still it's going to be a big thing because these resistances have not been reclaimed in some time. If we talk about Bitcoin dominance, it has flipped the structure, now moving in an uptrend. It has this double bottom reversal pattern. If we talk about others.d, structure flip has happened. The structure on these altcoin charts has turned bearish, which means that it's not a very good thing, for most of these charts. Feels like a capo stream. I apologize in advance for this, but this is the reality. The previous week, the situation was quite different. The things were quite different in the last week. But yeah, you can see this for yourself. I'm not making up any of these things. On the Bitcoin chart, the situation is not that bad, at least. But on these charts, on some of these other charts, it's just right in front of you guys. I'm not making up any of these things. When will you feel comfortable taking leverage longs or scalp longs? I'm actually uh, thinking about placing a few short positions also. But in order to do so, we have to wait for a move towards 115,000 to 116,000. As I explained to you earlier, that if we take any short position right now, we will essentially be shorting everything while Bitcoin is sitting at support. Although, as I said, Bitcoin is going to break below this level, but because it's sitting at support, and it's sitting very close to its previous wick, it may not be a very good decision to short things right now. And also remember that most of these altcoins, they have daily candle closes above their higher time frame support levels, and they are just giving you the deviation retest. So just watch this live stream for the very beginning and you will understand what I'm talking about. And by the way, 70 plus people are watching the live stream. I would really appreciate if all of you are able to just subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this live stream. We have been stuck at 2600 subscribers for so long. I would really appreciate if all of you are able to show some love. Drop comments below these videos, and like these videos, like the live stream, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Do you think if more chances of rate cuts? I mean, there is definitely a chance for a rate cut. Definitely 2 to 3 rate cuts are happening, and but once again, it's not changing the other factors. Rate cuts alone are not going to be a bullish thing for the overall market. We have the government shutdown going on. We have Trump constantly talking about US China trade wars. We have like things have been, absolutely messed up, and things have reached a point, surprisingly, in terms of macroeconomic activity, things have reached a point where no one really is talking about rate cuts. I mean, rate cuts are a big thing, but no one really is bullish about rate cuts. And that is mainly because we already had one rate cut, which was the first one in the last 7 to 8 months, which in itself was a bullish thing. So the euphoria is down already, but no one really is talking about rate cuts because the situation surrounding the rate cuts is so messed up, that it's no longer a very relevant thing. You have the trade wars going on, you have Trump constantly talking about these things, you have other things messed up completely, government shutdown going on. So for that reason, the rate cuts for some time, they have become completely irrelevant, which is once again a very surprising thing to me. When alt session, what do you mean by alt session? Much love for Sweden. Thank you so much. So, what conditions must you first see to take a scalp long positions? I'm not sure about the conditions, to be honest. Uh, we are already in, the reason why we are not opening any long position is because we already had like 24 spot positions just in a matter of 2 to 3 days, which is more than enough, in my opinion, like really more than enough. But if you're talking about the scalp long positions, that's why I'm not opening scalp long positions, because we already have spot positions. I would definitely love to open some short positions, but for that to happen, we need to see some, a move towards upside. Let's go to McDonald's. Yeah, that's right. So, do we have any other question related to this? What exactly are you guys feeling about the overall market? Let me know in the chat box. What is your feeling about the market right now? Do you think we are bullish? Do you think, I don't think we are bullish or bearish right now. I think we have lot of uncertainty in the market, and mainly because of the government shutdown, because we do not have any macroeconomic data to, make these decisions. The CPI PPI data was, supposed to be released yesterday, but again, because of the government shutdown, that did not happen. Love your Twitter. Thank you so much. Currently, we are 80% bearish based on USDT dominance. Yeah, that's right. Stablecoin dominance, Bitcoin dominance, trade war. Then why we have so many spot positions open are, see, this is an interesting question. The reason why we have, and by the way, we successfully opened these spot positions. You will agree with this thing, that we de-risked all of these spot positions, and for the majority of other spot positions also, we are absolutely fine. I mean, nothing really has changed, and I would explain to you why we have these spot positions open, because of others.d. Okay, so until and unless I see that others is breaking below this level, it's simply just something which I would call a deviation retest. And same is the case with all of these other altcoins also. The ones that for which we have these positions open, nothing really has changed. They're just giving you the deviation retest. They are trading close to the entry point. Even this one was 13 to 14% up. That's how comfortable I am with these spot positions, that I did not move stops break even. I did not take profits of some of these positions, even in situations where price was up almost 13 to 14% from the entry point. So yeah, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to make any decision immediately for these positions, because I believe that instead of just looking at all of these things left, right, center, we should be focusing on the information that is available, the immediate direct information that is available right in front of us. And the direct information that we have is in the form of the charts that we are looking at. Closes are above the higher time frame support levels. This is just a deviation. Same is the case with others.d. So the situation is not that bad. It may sound like it's bad, but still, it's not that bad. I just do not understand how you can think we will make higher highs after the liquidation event. What do you mean by that? I did not talk about the higher highs. And why exactly is it, like, impossible for price to create a higher high after the liquidation events? It essentially depends on the incentives, right? Local bottom cannot be far. Yeah, that's right. Insanely how almost whole crypto Twitter is bearish, while there are still two rate cuts awaited this year. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. But again, do not forget that, because of all the mess that has been going on around us, because of the trade war, because of the return of the soybean Avenger, the return of the cooking oil Avenger, because of the government shutdown. Because of all of these events, rate cuts for the time being have turned out to be something which is irrelevant at this point. Um, Hopefully the shutdown will be over soon. Kelly is saying. Okay, so if I remember correctly, the previous government shutdown, the longest shutdown was during the previous Trump term, which went on for 31 days. And most of these betting sites are now projecting, the biggest shutdown in the government history, in the US government history. And it could go for 41 to 50 days. So yeah, it's already, I guess, the 16th or 17th day into the shutdown. Let me know the exact date in the chat box. Can you please answer my last question? Crypto Makers is saying. What is your last question? Okay, so do you think next DCA will be under SL pointing dump? What do you mean by that? Too much uncertainty, especially a prediction for ETH, baffles me right now. What prediction did I make about ETH? Silent, could you let me know? I did not make any prediction about ETH. The only prediction or the forecast that I made for ETH was that I'm holding a big bag of ETH. It is trading slightly above my entry point, but I have not de-risked that position. I can just continue to hold it for some time. I'm going to sell it at 4,700 at least. The 7 to 8,000 high. Oh, okay. The $7 to 8,000 position. So I gave you the reason for that. ETH BTC is nowhere close to its previous cycle highs. Okay, uh, Ethereum has done literally nothing in comparison to Bitcoin. So that's why I believe that a realistic target for Ethereum could be 6 to 7,000. I'm not saying 10,000, 15,000. People, I mean, not long ago, almost a week ago, people were calling for $500,000 Bitcoin. Now people are saying $30,000 Bitcoin. Just a week ago, before this liquidation event, people were calling for 10,000, $15,000 Ethereum. Now they're saying that Ethereum is going down to $1,000. So that's how people usually behave. So yeah, I'm not surprised. They're not angry the goat. No, I'm not angry. Having a healthy discussion is fine. Yeah, we're just having a healthy discussion. You know, we're just having a healthy discussion. Don't worry about it. Is the stop loss hard or soft on spot positions? It's going to be, uh, I would let you guys know whenever I'm closing these positions, but it's most likely going to be a hard stop loss as soon as I see price closing below these or price losing these support levels. We would have to get out of these spot positions anyway. But be patient. Do not worry about these things right now. Nothing really has changed. I'm telling you, if you are like little too scared, then you should consider de-risking these spot positions. ETC is at the entry point. People is above the entry point. STRK is at the entry point. You can just close the majority of these spot positions and just go with like 2 3 good ones. That's completely on you, but I am comfortable holding these spot positions for now. ASTER. Okay, are we opening any more spot positions? No, we are not, sir. You're looking for $7 to 8,000 ETH. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Sherlock, could you please tell me when we can expect Bitcoin to go down to 107 to 108,000 level? Probably in the next few hours. Okay, if the announcement that Trump has to make, it's not something which is like extremely bullish, then probably in the next few hours, this is all just dead cat bounces. You can see that price is just hardly holding above this level. So probably in the next few hours, you will see that 108,000 to $107,000 move. Is it possible to go to 114K and then return to 108K levels? Yes, it's absolutely possible. The reason is the 1 day quarterly VWAP, which we have been constantly getting rejected at. So, it's quite possible. Do not forget the 1 day quarterly VWAP. It's a very important dynamic level, and we just got rejected at this level not long ago, just a few hours ago. This might be a good video for your channel, in my opinion. A 30-day challenge starting with 1K, and the goal is turn it into 5K and 10K. Yeah, that could be a good thing. What is a warning sign? At what price point of Bitcoin one day close below you will decide to slowly get out of spot positions? I'm not going to decide it based on the Bitcoin chart. I would decide it based on the altcoin chart, the altcoins for which we have these spot positions open. We're going to make a decision based on that. So as soon as we have the closes below these levels, below these higher time frame supports, then in that case there would be no point to enter into these there would be no point to stay in these positions, right? So let's take a look at ASTER. Very simple, it's trading below this resistance level. So until and unless this resistance gets reclaimed, I would say do not enter into any position. That was a very good entry for a short position. You can see that price was just giving the first retest. So it's quite simple. Uh, on the daily time frame chart, that was another very good entry point because you draw the fib level, start of impulsive, end of impulsive wave, and 0.786. You could have easily taken a long position at 0.786. But apart from that, I do not have any entry for ASTER. That was another good entry point, 0.786, sorry. 0.786, you can see that. I would have told you to open a short position at this level, but because the first retest is done already, price is down almost 18 to 19% already. So yeah, it may not be a good decision. What point of altcoin chart? What point of altcoin chart? It's different for every single coin. For example, for STRK, it's going to be this level. For people, it's going to be this level. Okay. You can see that if the daily close happens below this level, that's when we'll decide to get out of these positions. Sherlock, I cannot trade for almost 2 days because of price action. Is it normal? What do you mean by that? So we should not expect any scalp swing longs in the coming days. No, you can expect scalp long positions. This is what we do. There is not particular chart for all altcoins. I still do not understand your question, but if you're asking for one unified chart which you will look at and make the decision if you should be getting out of these spot positions, then I would say go with others. Uh, if there is a daily close below this level, below the $247 billion level, then you can, start exiting the position. But again, I would suggest looking at the relevant chart instead of just looking at one chart and making the decision. So we did not open any position on Dodge, by the way. The reason is because I have said this before also that I do not like the structure on Dodge. You know, Eh, the problem with Dodge is that it's not always giving respect to these levels. It's not always giving respect to these SR levels. But uh, it's a good level. You can see that rejection, a bounce happened, the rejection happened, the bounce happened. So Dodge, I would still say that it's trading at the support, but just be careful that it's not a chart which is always giving respect to these levels. And although this is a deviation below the level, and although there was a close above this higher time frame support, but I still think that it's not a very good chart to bid right now because I had a bad experience with Dodge in the past. If you guys remember, the last position that we opened on Dogecoin was almost an year ago. No, not an year ago. It was on, I would let you know the exact date. It was probably on 1st of April or 2nd of April 2025, where we opened a position on Dodge and price did not give respect to the level. So ever since I have completely stopped trading Dogecoin because it's not always giving respect to the levels. So anyways, although the close was above the level, it could be called a deviation, but still, I'm not super comfortable trading Doge right now, because I had a bad experience with this coin. What coins you are eyeing on which looks good structure wise? If you're long on Doge, then you have a reason to be long, then you have a reason to stay long. Uh, but for me, it's not a very good chart. What coins I'm looking at? All of these coins, you can see that 𝗟𝘃 people near etc, link, orca, cfx, sushi, pole, meme, 𝗕ecie, qnt. All of these coins we have spot positions open on. So these are the coins that I'm mainly looking at. What do you do with scalp charts? You stopped midway. No, I did not stop. I I was in Singapore, obviously. Then I came back. Then this whole thing happened. So yeah, that's why we have not been taking too many positions. But yeah, we are slowly getting back into the action. Uh, yeah, I already have shared my thoughts on ASTER, but let's take a look at this one. Just got listed. So I do not like to trade coins that would just go down soon after the listing, because if a coin goes up soon after the listing, then you can draw the fib level, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave, and try to bid that coin at 78.6% level. But soon after the listing, if a coin goes down in the opposite direction, then all you have to do is just do the opposite thing: 65, 70.5, or 78.6. Take a short position based on your risk tolerance and everything. And you know yeah, that's all you have to do, because it's following the opposite pattern, going down soon after the listing. So yeah, no, as in you were saying a few minutes ago that for scalp charting, this is how you find them. So you have to do it on the hourly time frame chart, and you have to wait for the breakout candle on the hourly time frame, and then you can just go long. But it depends on the coin, it depends on how price has respected that level in the past, if that coin actually gives respect to these levels. So there are, like, multiple factors that you would have to take into account. I was bullish before watching your stream, but now I feel like bearish. That's completely normal. What about 𝗠IE? So we have a spot position open on 𝗠IE. Let's take a look at the chart. So we have a spot position open on 𝗠IE. You can see that deviation. We opened a spot position at $2.20. It went up to $2.90, almost $3. But because it's trading at resistance, just like XRP, so you have to be careful. So this deviation retest, if it happens, this is going to be a perfect opportunity for you to get into 𝗠IE. Uh, so let's set an alert around here. If the deviation retest at $2.30 happen, it's a good opportunity. Let's take a look at ENA also. By the way, I was looking to bid ENA when that flash crash happened. The reason why I did not do so, which actually turned out to be a very good decision, was because unlike most of these coins, ENA was not able to close a daily candle above the 50 cent level, above the resistance level. You can see that I still have an alert set. It still never closed a candle above this level. So the recovery was not good on ENA. So it's because it's consolidating right now, it could be a good short position, but it's not a good long position right now. MUSDT. What is this coin? Meme core. So the only thing that I would say I can do with this coin, because the structure is just one complete wave. This is not retracement wave. Um this is just a pullback. This is not a retracement wave or a corrective wave. This was the candle which created the high. The low of this candle was never swept. So this is just one complete wave, and then this low was swept after the new high. So this is essentially just one wave in short. So what I can do, the only thing that I can do is draw the fib from the start of impulsive wave to the end of impulsive wave and try to bid this coin at 65, 70.5, or 78.6. And I would say that the best point to bid this coin will be 78.6. So wait for 78.6, which is going to be almost a 51% drop on this coin. That is when you can start buying it. And it is also the previous all-time high. So yeah, that could be a good opportunity. Let's set an alert around here. Okay, so this is the last chart that we are looking at. It has been going up. One of my friends told me about this coin. They said that they had a long position open on it. Has been constantly going up. Again, the same thing we can do. But yeah, remember that this is very similar to a double top pattern. And if we break below this neckline, I would prefer shorting this coin instead of going long on it. So let's set an alert. If it breaks below this level, I would prefer shorting this coin, not going long on it. This was a previous all-time high, so this was also a good long opportunity. But because that option is no longer valid, so I would prefer shorting this coin instead of going long on it. One option could be to draw the fib levels, but if it starts breaking below this level, it starts losing this level, then I'm not comfortable taking a long position on it. I think it would be much better if we start shorting this coin. With most of these shit coins, you know, uh, they would eventually form the Burj Khalifa pattern. Yes, exactly. The Burj Khalifa pattern. Someone mentioned in the chat box also, they will eventually form the Burj Khalifa pattern. All you have to do is just and wait for the signs of reverse. Oh my God. Yeah, this is the pattern that I'm talking about. If you're able to catch the move early, something like this, but there was no pattern around here. There was a small hourly time frame, double top pattern, not a very good example, but still. Break below neckline, came back up, retested, and then a move of almost 53% move down. So to buy SUI at $2.30, yes, exactly. I sold for 12% gain, but I missed more. Yeah, I can see that. You should have sold it at the retest of this level, 0.07. But Ben Alpha chart is different. Any thoughts about that chart? For USDT. Which exchange are you talking about? Which exchange it got listed on first? 𝗬𝗍𝗃, I guess. Yeah. 𝗬𝗍𝗃 listed it back on October 2025, 1st October. But I guess it's the same time. Binance Alpha. So I do not have the Binance Alpha chart with me here. So I cannot take a look at the Binance Alpha chart, obviously. China agrees to work with us on a trade. What a roller coaster. Do you think it will make a difference? Let me take a look at the news. I don't think it's going to make a difference, honestly, but first we have to hear back from Trump. The chart is not looking good, and I'm telling you that there is a break towards downside coming very soon. These are just dead cat bounces. It's like, nothing really is happening here. Is there such thing as a scalp shot, or is that a yeah, yeah, there is a thing called scalp shot. But the problem with scalp shot is that, with these shit coins, shorting something isn't a good idea, I would say. You know, and with most of the scalps that I share with you guys, those are mostly, coins that are already up 15-20%, and you expect them to make another 40 to 50% move. But with shorting, you would essentially be shorting at a resistance level, and we know that these shit coins, they are mostly like pump and dumps. So they're not really going to give you any chance if you do not have the stop loss in place. If you have a soft stop loss, if you do not have the actual invalidation point or anything like that. So yeah, you would be in trouble if you're trying to short these shit coins. So that is why I prefer going long on shit coins, no matter what the situation is like. For example, right now situation in the market is pretty bad, but still, see, these coins, they're going in their own world. They do not care about what's happening in the overall market. So this was a good scalp position. You can see that the hourly close above, go long at the hourly close, but I would have definitely not gone with this long trade because the stop loss was 21%. 16% makes no sense to have a 16% stop loss while you are scalping. But you can see that this was a very, very good spot position. Really good spot position this was. Break above and then almost a 78%, 72% move. So yeah, this is how you would do it. Another example, this is a shit coin. But again, stop loss is going to be huge if we decide to go long on this coin. We can place a stop loss like slightly below this support level, but it's going to be extremely risky. So that's how you do scalping. It's not super difficult to find these coins. They're mostly in top gainers very easily. Mexi chart for 4. Let's go to the daily time frame. Yeah, the spot chart is different. Draw the fib, start of impulsive wave, end of impulsive wave. You could go long at 78.6. Place your stop loss in the middle of 88.6 and 99.9. And look, there is a 200% move. So as I said to you already, that if soon after the listing a coin makes a move upside, and that's a good thing. But soon after the listing, if it makes a move downside, then that's a bad thing. In this case, since it made a move towards upside, 78.6 was a good opportunity for you to go long. And yeah, apart from that, I don't really see any other long or short opportunity. Let's draw the no, I don't really see any long opportunity right now, you know. And plus I'm very uh skeptical about trading the newly listed coins. I do not have a good experience trading these newly listed coins. So I'm probably just going to avoid it. I do not have any idea about the structure in general. So this, in my opinion, was still a very good level to go long at. You can see that this level was constantly being respected, had a break below, came back up, retest happened, then came back up, retest happened. So this was a good long opportunity. Uh, Back on 14th of October, you can see that you could have taken this long position, but apart from that, and it could have given you a 73% move. Wow, that's amazing. But still, apart from that, I don't really see any opportunity right now. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. It's been almost 1.5 hours since we started. Thank you so much for joining. Again, 60 plus people watching the live stream, and only 39 of you have liked it. It's not really going to cost you anything if you would just press the like button. I would really appreciate that. So just make sure to like the live stream. If you're new to my YouTube channel, if you're watching this video for the very first time, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Please make sure to press the notification bell icon. So once again, whenever I go live, whenever we post a video, you will be notified immediately. And if you're not following me on Twitter, 𝗟𝘅𝗲, this is my Twitter handle. I post market updates, calls over my Twitter account as well. So make sure that you're following this Twitter account. And if you would like to receive more organized updates and calls, you can join in the Discord server. Link you can find in the description of this video. Thank you so much. Take care and have a great week ahead. Do not forget to like the live stream. Do not forget to do that. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.